Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite Ravens YouTube channel and podcast, Talking Ravens all day, every day, with your host Justin P. and my $1 million MVP co-host Miss Shannon Finch. This is episode 121 for the YouTube version. For the audio version, it's season 2, episode 24, if I'm not mistaken. If you want to check the audio version out, like if you can't watch it live, you're working, driving, the links are right there below Apple, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, all that stuff like that. Just type in Talking Ravens all day, every day with Justin P. And it'll list all the available platforms that we got right there in the description. Also, underneath of us, myself, David Shannon's social media platforms. You can give us a follow there. I think Shannon just got Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. I have everything. So you can follow me on everything. For promotional purpose. I think Dave just got Facebook and Instagram. Excuse me, allergies, everyone. Bear with me. So Shannon has some very good topics for us today. We took a week off. We like to take some time off when we can because we all got families and stuff like that and jobs. We like to have a little reset, and plus, let y'all miss us a little bit. You know what I mean? Make the heart go fun. All right, Shannon, the floor is yours.
All right, so we are 2 days away from week one, and we play in the first game of the season. So I know all Ravens fans are excited for that. And before you can get to that point, you have to have a roster. So last Tuesday, I believe it was, the official 53-man roster came out. So Justin, were there any surprises or snubs to you with the 53-man roster?
Uh, I'll start with surprises. Like I said, excuse me, bear with me. I was surprised we kept 6 safeties. That was surprising. I knew at least 5 because they wanted to keep Bo Braid, but they also wanted to keep Sadusky Kane as well. So now we got six safeties and 5 corners. So that's the surprise. I'm guessing they did it because Darius Washington can play corner. He can play the nickel role. I'm guessing they're getting 2 for 1 with that. But yeah, that was it. For that's y'all. Bless me. Like so,
God
man.
bless you.
Thanks. And as far as snubs, let's see. That's a good one, snubs. Not really. Oh, maybe Dayton Wade, but that's about it. Excuse me, y'all. Too. Oh, Lord, I hate allergies. Maybe Dayton Wade, maybe Josh Ross. That's about it for snubs. But and we kept 10 offensive linemen. That's another surprise. Normally we go 8 and 9, but I guess with the some of the guys been improving, they just want to have that extra depth there. So that's about it.
Mm-hmm. So you kind of pretty much said what I was going to say. It wasn't any surprises for me as far as the roster. I mean, a lot of guys that we thought were going to make it or talked about making it that were either on a bubble or undrafted and who we hope to be on the team. I mean, they made the team. But my initial reaction when I saw the list of the names was the same thing you said, like, "Ooh, we got a deep secondary and offensive line room." And the thing about the offensive lineman is like it's like you said, it's a lot of unproven. So it's kind of like that made sense. And I think that Bu just made it hard for the Ravens to not have him a part of the roster, which then, you start thinking about all the other guys who can be versatile and do different things. Like, why you have to keep him. So it's like he kind of forced their hand in a sense to me. I mean, we talked about him almost every week of the preseason. So really wasn't any surprises. And because it wasn't any surprises, I don't have any snubs. It's not anybody who I was like, they must or I hope they make it. Um, we talked about Quadri Ishmael's son. He made the practice squad, which we expected him to do, and they moved him to tight end. So that could be a positive for him, whether it works out here or not. Kind of puts you in a Darren Waller mindset of the Ravens turning him into a tight end. So yeah, I don't have any surprises. I was more or less, like you said, shocked at how many offensive linemen and DBs we did keep.
Yeah. That's about it. We went 6 receivers, 4 running backs. I'm surprised we went 2 quarterbacks. I guess they're gonna let Huntley just get acclimated. With, I ain't gonna take long because he's been here, so I
Yeah.
guess going through the due process with him, and he'll be the third. He'll be this backup. Then Josh Johnson third. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's another thing, bringing back Tyler Huntley. I mean, I'm glad that the Browns released him because otherwise you may have been having to give up something to trade for him if you were a team if they were trying to trade him that way.
Yeah,
And I know a lot of fans, are like, why people, so admire why they so many people admire Tyler Huntley or want him back and happy he's back. But I think it's just like, him being familiar with the team, like it makes sense in a sense. I mean, you're not going to continue to overpay him as a backup, but if you can bring him in for less money, why not? And he was available. And we've talked about, not feeling totally comfortable with the quarterback room after Lamar. So to me, it made perfect sense to bring him back. And like you said, I think that they'll put him on a practice squad now just because he's just coming back. But as the season goes on, I definitely think he'll be quarterback number two.
now about next week he'll be quarterback number two. About the next home game, because with that 10, the layover the
Oh
Thursday,
yeah, yeah.
it's like I said, it's just due process, and also the fact
Formality, yeah.
they try to show respect to Josh Johnson. This is my last little nugget on that. Then we'll let you go to your next time. Channel. Also, we know Lamar been having health issues, falls like his like stomach and stuff. Not just injuries. He ain't get injured last year, but he have he gets yearly stomach ache, so stuff like that. So we know Huntley could at least win us a game or two, a couple games if it comes down to that. So that's why everybody's a little excited. And even though he was in my doghouse for that dumb shit he did against the Bengals, I think I'm gonna find that bygones be bygones. Welcome back, Sweet.
Yeah, that's my point. Like I agree with you. Like
I think
who
that's
else
why
better? Who else
everybody.
better to bring in?
Yeah, I think that's why. Cause that was our last actual like moment of seeing him, actually playing on the field. Cause last year he didn't really play much besides blowing teams out and all that. So it kind of left a bad taste in people's mouth. So I'm just playing devil's advocate for that. Why the disdain they have for him.
I didn't even understand people wanting to bring in Tannehill. I mean, I can understand you wanting to have the backup quarterback, feel a little bit more comfortable in that position because we talked about it.
Yeah.
But he probably would have cost a lot of money too. You know what I
He
mean?
would that was the I was one of those people that I thought about. I said he's a borderline star. He can start for some
Yeah,
years.
yeah. Like that didn't make
For
sense.
one nice little piece of change.
Yeah. All right. So while we were talking about the roster and who made it, we talked about Tylan Wallace in the preseason. I mean, he was another guy who kind of forced the Ravens' hands. Like last season, it was kind of like, did he do enough? Will he be on a bubble? And he made the team. And this year, I don't think it was any doubt that he was going to make the team. Like he's another player that made it difficult for the Ravens to cut him. And when you're in a position like that like you had to, he did his job. So my question for you is, do you think that he's going to be featured more offensively now that we have Deonte Harty shown as being the lead kick and punt returner?
Yeah, he actually should have been featured 2022. Remember, but Greg Roman blew that. Had we had Todd Monken then, Tylan Wallace would have been doing the same thing Duvernay did. Remember, Duvernay was making some big plays for us, but then
Hmm.
John Odell Beckham, it kind of takes away everybody's opportunities. Nothing against him, but I'm just saying you get a
Of
guy like
course.
it's just now that's why you saw less Duvernay, less Tylan Wallace. But had we had Todd Monken sooner, yes, he would have been involved, getting 40 catches, stuff like that. So yeah,
Hmm.
they cut and got Russell Gage and all them for a reason. So obviously, like Tyler Wallace, your last year, so we'll give you a real shot to actually try to contribute as
Make
a
an impact, yeah.
special teamer. So yeah, I could see him being involved a little bit more. He'll be like that fifth receiver guy. Come in, he probably gets 30 catches, 300 yards, a touchdown or two. That's a good year for a fifth receiver.
Hmm.
So yeah, I can
Yeah, I
see.
agree. I totally agree with you. And for the same reasons that you mentioned, I mean, since he's been here, we've had veterans like Sammy Watkins and Odell come in. Guys like that come in, you're automatically going to get pushed down the depth chart. Then we had Duvernay, he was ahead of him. You bring in Zay Flowers, you have Hollywood Brown, you got big like he's going to get pushed down, just naturally, unfortunately for him. But this season, like I said, I think that because everything you heard about training camp about him was good. We saw plays that he made in the preseason. I think if no other year, this is his time. You said you have him more like a fifth wide receiver coming in. I kind of see him more like a fourth. Like if Zay or Bateman or Aguilar can't go in for a play, or if they're injured, he might move up, more in their spot.
Okay.
But I definitely think that he needs to be featured more. And I hope that's exactly what they do. This like we have a lot of, even though we want big name wide receivers, I just feel like if you use certain guys the right way, you can still get the same results.
And then I thought about what you said too with the Devontae Adams thing. He was tripping. Like you don't want a guy to come in and his attitude disrupts things if you're not catching 160 balls. And I
Yeah.
Shannon has a very good point because Derrick Henry still got to touch the ball like
Mm-hmm.
so you got to try to spread it out as evenly as you possibly can't just force feed somebody. So, and then that's somebody
Right.
else that had to go. It's kind of good to have the receiver by committee because now defenses just got to play on versus we're going to triple Justin Jefferson, we're going to triple Jamal Chase, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
What
And
we saw,
sometimes Lamar can get to that point where it's like he's just keying in on one guy, like because he's comfortable with him, so
yeah.
you can't knock it. But it makes for a better offense when you can really spread it out.
Remember what Jesse Bates said? I think it was 2 years ago. He only looked for 15 and or 5 and 9, five
Mm-hmm.
89. Sorry, everybody ain't tripping.
Mm-hmm.
5 and 89. So yeah, you don't want to be like you want to just hit plethora of guys. But like I said, don't get me wrong. If we get Devontae Adams or whoever,
Mm.
we and Shannon not gonna complain. But I'm just trying to. But she does have a point. If they're willing to, hey, I'm just trying to do my part and win a championship. You're not gonna come here and break Megatron's record. Like Odell said, if you got that mentality, you'll be fine. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's pretty good. And the reason why I say fifth, Shannon, piggyback on that, then I'm gonna let you move on. I think Devontae Walker will get the opportunities. I think he'll get the
Yeah.
opportunities. Like I said, that speed, man. He reminds me of Toy Smith. If you really look back at it, outside of
Mm-hmm.
the variables, this receiver core not too much different from 2012. Only
Mm-hmm.
difference is Anquan Bolton's status
Yeah.
versus Zay Flowers. The only second year Anquan Bolton was a Hall of Famer already, proven guy, but same similar guy, tough, running balls, they just faster.
Mm-hmm.
Bateman is like a Jacoby Jones, probably, in a sense, just minus the kick return stuff. Aguilar and Devontae Walker give you the Torrey Smith effect because they can go deep. Then
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the Tan and Dawson guys, they didn't make plays. I'll take Tylan Wallace over those two guys.
Yeah.
Andrews is definitely way better than Pitta. Like, Ed
Mm-hmm.
Dixon,
And we love Pitta.
and likely is better than Ed Dixon. The O line, it was going through. Remember the same thing. They lost Ben Grubbs. They lost somebody
Mm-hmm.
else. I forgot. Then we had a new.
KO.
Yeah, Kate Cutler. No, he was a rookie. He was there. He was a rookie. We drafted
Oh,
him in
what game you talking about?
2012. Then
Oh,
we
okay.
lost,
Okay.
we lost
Okay.
Ben Grubbs to somebody else.
After yeah. Okay.
Kenny from left to right. So we had to do experiment there too. So it's not too much of a difference. And of course, we got defensively, we got Rowe, Ray, that factor. Uh, Marcus Williams and Cal Hamilton together, they have an impact like an Ed Reed together. So I put both of them together because that's how good Ed.
Mm-hmm.
And then Eddie Jackson. So those three together, equal up an Ed Reed. So we just don't have the veteran edge rusher. We do Van Noy if he can repeat what he did, that'll help a lot. And if Owe can take another step, and a few other guys, it's what I said. It's the similarities from the two teams, not that much different. But to answer this, then we're gonna move on. We do want elite receivers. It just we can want what all we want. It's the organization. They gotta want to pay the guys, and the guys gotta want to play here. So it's not what we want. It's up to the front office. Revive the Sport Podcast. Go ahead, Shannon, if you want to
I
reply to that.
would. Yeah, I would say I don't think it's a matter of us not wanting elite wide receivers. At least for me, even when we were talking about it on the last episode, I don't want like diva like guys, and we just know that some wide receivers have that mentality. I don't want selfish type of guys, like, and some wide receivers have it. But then we also know that there are wide receivers who aren't divas. Like Megatron wasn't. He just went about his business. Andre Johnson, like there are guys out here who weren't who were different from what I'm talking about. So yeah, I want to leave. I would love to draft an elite receiver, right? Because that way you can probably, draft them to keep your own homegrown. If you get a wide receiver from another team, you're going to have to come out your pocket and pay a whole lot of money. And we've already talked about different guys on our team that are due big contracts. I mean, it's not our money; they'll figure it out. But if you're bringing in a free agent, it got to be the right guy. I just saw a quote today from Stephon Diggs saying basically he forced his way out of Minnesota and Buffalo,
Yeah.
and that neither team wanted him to leave, but he wanted to leave. And what that says to me, and we talked about this last year when I gave you that potential straight up trade for him and Patrick Queen, but for the season last year, that's part of the reason why I didn't want him. Because if you're telling me that you went out of your way to make it known you don't want to be on a team, that means you became a problem.
Yeah.
And I don't really like a whole bunch of unnecessary drama. Like when Earl Thomas was here and had his drama, you see how quick he had to get up out of here. Like we not a team that's used to a whole bunch of drama, and I don't care for it.
Well, I'm gonna say this. Depends on drama. It all depends. Cause remember we had situations with Ray Lewis and Jamal Lewis. So
Well, I mean that's
that's why I say it
yeah.
depends. It all depends on what, on the field
Off
drama.
the field, right? Like, yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah,
saying.
that's why.
Off the
The
field stuff
reason I
to
said that,
me.
Shannon, you know how people were in the comments. I had to
Well,
go ahead.
I was talking about the teams. I ain't even talking about no off the field stuff. So I'm specifically talking about how
Yeah,
you act with your organization.
nah. Besides the little stuff with Harbaugh, when we got blown out by the Texans. Besides
Yeah.
that was about it. But yeah, overall, you're right. It's not a lot of it.
Oh. All right. So we talked about it when we started the show. That we're playing our first game two days from now.
Hold on before you.
Uh, Go ahead.
Actually, we did. So yeah, Michael Jackson and Doug Alexander. Yes, I know they came from the Browns, but they set those records in a Raven uniform. Next, go ahead, Shannon.
Yeah. So we have our week one matchup against the Chiefs, and my question for you is: do you see it as a revenge game?
No, not yet. It's a more of a show we can get over the hump type game versus this team. You know what I mean? Sort of say. Like I said, and I keep reverting back to 2012 because it's like I said, it has that feel of that vibe. Remember, we did beat the Patriots in the playoffs, with Ray Rice and all, but still, even then, they still had our number overall. We just caught them. So
Mm-hmm.
can we really beat them consistently in the playoffs? No, we beat them week 3. Toy Smith had a game of his life for his brother. Then we like,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you actually can go in Foxborough and knock these people off. And they did it. So it gives me that type of feel. Like just get this win and like hey we should because we beat them in the regular season before. Remember the Sunday night game?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
hasn't been done, but revenge. I don't say no because like Kevin Oestreicher said in the show yesterday, he made a great point. You win this game, we don't go to the Super Bowl. We can't get back. We can't replay the AFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
It's just week one. Eventually, it's just luckily we played a team that stopped us from going to the Super Bowl. So we beat them. It's just another one on. It's just we starting off 1-0, and it gives us the confidence, yes, that we can take this team down again. If we got to go to PC or they got to come here, but revenge game, no, ain't gonna be a revenge game until we eliminate them from postseason.
Yep, I agree 100%. I don't see it as a revenge game either. I feel like revenge games more or less happen when you can end the season of somebody or a team that ended your season.
Yeah,
So week one, that's not going to happen. I think revenge games sometimes can play out with your rival teams in your division because you're playing them 2 times a year. You might feel like, okay, y'all beat us this time, or we split. Like you're good if you can split with your division rivals, right? Outside of sweeping them. So that's the only time I think the regular season really has a revenge factor in it, if you want to say that. And I was also going to say the same thing you said, just comparing 2011 and 2012. Like we've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks too. It just seems so similar, and we can only hope for the same results. You know, we why I want to win week one is because for tiebreaker purposes, right? Like you beat them, you guys have the same record, you win a tiebreaker because you beat, you know what I mean, like things like that. Outside of that, winning is not going to do much for us because it's not going to take away what happened in the game in the AFC Championship. And honestly, losing is not the end of the season for us either. But ultimately, we want to win the game. And like I said, I really want to win it for tiebreaker purposes. Like, if it come down to us and the Chiefs, this game will be it could turn out to be something that's very important, whether we win or lose.
yeah,
Um, but I guess what I do want to say about this game is just I see a lot of Ravens fans already saying things like, it doesn't matter if we win, it doesn't matter if we win. And I just want people to take it for what it is. Like every season, every fan base wants the same thing. We have all hope to have the same goal to go to the Super Bowl. But it's only going to be one team to do it ultimately. And at some point, you might have some heartbreak. We're going to be mad. That's just sports in general. So I just want us, if we do win, I hope that we don't get a whole lot of, it don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? And if we lose, it's not the end of the world. Like I'm just saying, a lot of both of the whole conversation. I'm just like, at the end of the day, it's week one. Like either way you look at it.
Absolutely. Like I said, it's just the analysts get it. They got to do their jobs. They got to, they got families to feed, so they got to make a headline out of something. But they're the ones who want to prop it up bigger than what it is, because just for headline purposes. Like I said, that's what they get paid to do. So but they're the ones who want to make it a big of a deal. But like I said, for the players, it's like you said, it's just week one. The Chiefs
Yeah.
started 1 last year, lost to the Lions, won the Super Bowl. So
I've been seeing like a lot of Chiefs fans posting things on Twitter, and I'm like, they got some sort of imaginary beef. Like we don't talk about the Chiefs in a negative way. It ain't like but who doesn't want to beat them? Who wouldn't want to beat Pat Mahomes? It's like wanting to play the Patriots and beating them. But we don't have no like real disdain for the Chiefs like that. Like it's not that serious to me. Where I'm looking at the Chiefs fans like y'all trying to create a beef that's not there.
you know what it is? Somebody else brought this up. And the Chiefs fans, they just want Mahomes to be the only quarterback that's talked about, like how Brady was.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's just not gonna work like that, because when you had Brady, you had Peyton Manning, you had Rodgers, you had other guys. So yes, Brady name was always coughed up first, as it should be. Same with Mahomes, but you're gonna have other guys mentioned too. He's not the only quarterback playing in the National Football League.
Yeah.
So it's just that thing. They just want Mahomes just to be the only thing talked about. So that's all it is.
All right. So speaking about quarterbacks and Mahomes, I don't know if you saw that Lamar was. I think he was asked this question kind of, and he basically was saying that he doesn't have a relationship with Pat Mahomes or any other quarterbacks in the NFL at all. Were you surprised to hear that Lamar doesn't have any sort of relationship with the guys?
Not really, because in the day, y'all, even though they're not competing against each other physically, they're still trying to outdo each other. They're competing to win the Super Bowl, competing to win MVP awards. So I mean, I get it. If you're gonna get advice for somebody, get it from a quarterback that's not playing like he been doing, Peyton Manning and Brady and others.
Hmm.
Like, because the guys that's playing now, they're only gonna give you but so much, because they don't want you to beat their team. So
Right.
no, it doesn't sway me either way. If he did, okay, cool. But I kind of like it, because y'all be you're trying to beat these guys. So yeah, that's the problem with the NBA. They cheat buddy sometimes. Like, be friends and all.
Hmm.
Now you're trying to y'all both trying to compete and win. So I actually like it though, from a competitive standpoint.
So like for me, on one hand, I was surprised because in this day and age, it just seems like everybody want to act like they all friends, right? So I was like, oh, that's interesting. He's not cool. I guess he's not texting and talking or whatever, and I
I'm
don't have a
sure
problem
he's
with it
gonna
either.
respect when we see them. He's not going to give him a
Oh
close.
yeah, not like there's no beef. Yeah, we see him, chat with guys, but it's like you mentioned basketball players. It's just different nowadays with athletes in general. So like you could see the guys going back and forth just talking on Twitter. It's just different, but not again. I don't care either way. That's what they want to do. But for me, I said initially I was kind of surprised, but ultimately I'm not surprised because 7 years of Lamar being here, I'm kind of getting a feel for the type of guy that he is, and he just doesn't seem like a guy that's really into a whole bunch of, shall we just say, small talk.
Yeah,
Like he comes in, he clocks out, he does his job. He's about God, football, his family. Like like that's what's important to him. He probably
yeah.
has his guys that he
Giving,
hangs
giving,
with.
giving back to his community and other communities.
Yeah, like he's not like outside of Ravens people or things people associated with the Ravens, you don't even really see him sitting down talking to people. Ryan Clark, because a fan had asked Ryan Clark why don't he interview people from the Ravens, and he was saying he tried to get Lamar, was denied. And I'm like, Lamar
Oh,
doesn't even want to sit down and talk to
he
people.
said that on Pivot, or the first take.
He said on Pivot. It was on Twitter, but they was talking about Pivot
Oh, okay.
because that's when.
I remember. I watch every episode. I'm trying to think. Do I remember him saying?
And
Not saying
no, not he didn't say it on Pivot. He said it on Twitter
on
because
Twitter.
a
Oh,
fan was saying, "Why don't y'all have Ravens players on the Pivot?" Because it was right after he did the Joe Burrow
he
one.
had Zay Flowers on there.
They said that he talked about that. He
Yeah,
mentioned the whole thing. It was a whole. It wasn't just about Lamar. He was saying everything that
he had
transpired,
He
and
had Zay Flowers.
because somebody, I believe they were saying he wanted Lamar. But either way,
Yeah.
if with Lamar not wanting to do that, I'm like, he just not a guy that just want to sit around and just chit chat. Like that's just not who he is.
The shop is more Lamar's lane, because he sit back. I saying, I love, like I said, Pivot's one of my favorite. The shop is
Hmm.
more his lane. He more comfortable there. See, he was
And
a
it's and it's and it's and it's more people talking there. Like when you sit down with the Pivot, that interview was about you. So I don't think Lamar
And
really
he might
cares
not
to
be
be that type of
comfortable.
guy.
Yeah, I think some people not comfortable with Channing Crowder's little sexual escapades. Somebody not, everybody not comfortable with
Yeah,
that
yeah,
because
but
you know what's coming. Everybody not comfortable. He might not want to hear. So Lamar, you put girls in the head a lot. He might not want. He might not be down with that. You know, everybody
yeah,
else.
he annoys me anyway. Sometimes I'll be looking at him like, what the hell? But that's my point. Like Lamar don't want to do it, and I don't knock Lamar for it. I feel like I have the utmost respect for Lamar because to me, he just stays true to himself. Even with all of the talk, I mean, he's the talk of the town. Even when he's not doing nothing, if he goes and sit down with somebody, it's gonna be you just giving them more to talk about. So Lamar just like whatever. I just want to play football. That's it. And that's all.
Like I
And I
say,
can respect that.
like he did the shot and was real cool, comfortable. You know, he was cool. Like, cause I guess LeBron been on that helped a lot. Cause
Hmm.
somebody looked up to. So you
And
know,
he wasn't the sole focus. Like it's other people on there
yeah,
talking.
yeah.
So
It's
yeah,
around. Yeah.
yeah,
Then Ron Clark being a Steeler, he might take some digs at him that he might not like. Feel me? You know how it go. You always gotta keep the stuff like that.
yeah.
You
And
know,
they did have a little back and forth. I think it was last year. Like at the beginning of the year, Brian Clark had said something about how Lamar was playing, and Lamar was like, "Players mess up." Like he responded back to Ryan Clark saying, like whatever Lamar had did that week, Ryan Clark had commented on it. But I don't know. I mean, he just doesn't seem like a guy that want to do a whole bunch of talking anyway. So don't surprise me.
like I said, and everybody, like I said, like I said, you know, everybody has their lane. Like I said, you have some people who will do one show and don't do the other because they like the,
Hmm.
you know, they
The
come.
people, and yeah, of course, of course. You always gotta be comfortable, always.
That's the biggest thing in life, work, everything, relationships, everything.
Yeah. All right. So our last topic for today, we talked about the roster. We talked about the different people that's on the roster. So my question for you is, which position group are you most confident in, and which group most concerns you?
It has to be one specific group, or I can give multiple. I just want to make sure I'm open.
However, well, I was asking for one, but if you can give, if you want to do multiple, you can.
Okay, I you, it's your segment. You run the show, Shannon. So I just had to make sure I ain't want to go outside the lines.
Because if
Most
you saying if you got more than one, then you got concerns about this team.
no. Well, for concerns, for both of them, I got multiple. Put it like that, so it's about the same.
Go ahead, Sam.
Confident quarterback, of course, because he's the guy. He's leading us. He's leading us. So definitely Lamar. I know he's ready to roll. You heard all the talk, he hearing all that. So he wished he ready to play this game right now. Feel me? Like he's just that type of guy. He ready to play this game right now. He keep saying about the playoffs, this, playoff, that, playoff record, that. Was even anywhere with the mind, blah. You know, so he's just ready to roll.
Hmm.
So definitely that. The second one, well, I got a few. I got three altogether. It's more. I put it this. It's more confidence than concern. So that's a good thing, right? Running back, Derrick Henry, Justice Hill. I think Machine Ali gonna show us. You know, he ain't really get a chance running behind on the backup line. So and backup quarterback, so he didn't get a chance even to get jiggy. So now he's gonna show us like, yeah, why he was drafted. Justice Hill gonna do his thing. Uh, the tight ends and receivers together, I think they're going to have a pretty good showing. I think Bateman is going to show people like, hey, this is why they brought me back. Zay going to show why I'm the number one. I think Aguilar going to show why he got the 1 year extension. Likely going to show why last year wasn't a fluke. So
Hmm.
like that, and that's all. And I got one on defense. The secondary, I think they're going to. I mean, I think Nate and them guys going to show out.
Hmm.
Say stuff like that. The inside linebackers, Roquan and Quinn gonna do their thing. So that's four. My two concerns is the
Oh,
offensive.
Trenton Simpson.
Yeah, Roquan Trent. So yeah, my bad. I thought everybody knew that talk, but yeah, yeah. Two concerns. The biggest one for me is everybody think it's O line. It's the pass rush. It's the pass rush. Reason why I put pass rush for O line at least have something to fill them with Joe D passing. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Lonnie Stanley and Tyler Leno both said we're gonna go out and play our ass off for Joe D. That's the least we can do. That man, he helped us so much. So we're gonna go ahead and they're gonna if that alone they're gonna play with heavy hearts. So I think they're gonna go out there, and I'm saying they ain't gonna give up no sacks and all that, but they're gonna put on a pretty solid performance. Whereas it's like,
Hmm.
but the pass rush is like, decent. Isaac hurt. Like I said, can Cal Van Noy repeat what he did a year older? Can Owe finally tap into his potential? Can Ajabo
Hmm.
stay healthy. And is Tavis Robinson is he really ready to step up? So that's why the pass rush is my main concern. Because if we, I don't care if you got Deion Sanders, Sauce Gardner, Dale Green, Champ Bailey, Charles Wilson, Rod Woodson, Rondé Barber. You get what I'm going at all in 1 secondary. If a quarterback got time to throw, they'll kill you. So
Mm-hmm.
if we can get the Mahomes and make it without having to blitz a lot, like if we can get home with 4 and 5 and just to get him off his mark. Not saying even don't sack him a whole lot, but get him off his mark, make him comfortable. That's going to make life a lot easier. But definitely the pass rush is number one. Then the O line. But like I said, the O line, they got something that the field that
The
they got
building. Mm-hmm.
that on them right now.
Okay. So I'm gonna just go a little different from what you said because everything you just said was great. I mean, I get why you probably couldn't pick just one for each one. So I'll just say some things that you didn't say. For one, I feel like this off season and even through training, we haven't really talked about the defensive line, good or bad. And to me, that's a good thing. So every group that you said that you're most confident in, completely get it. I'm gonna go with the defensive line because I feel like
Interior
those,
guy,
yeah.
I forgot about them, but I'm glad I didn't to say something for you.
But I just feel like that's not it. We haven't talked about them in a good or bad way. And when you I think that it's more like you're expecting them to do what they're going to do.
Yeah,
Like that's how I
yeah,
feel about them. So when we talk about most confident, like I said, not to say the groups that you said, I'm confident in that group as well. And as far as concerns, I'm gonna go a little different from you when you talked about the running backs. I feel like that's concerning in the sense that we're putting a lot on Derrick Henry for this offense, like expecting him to be, like a missing piece per se. Knock on wood, but if something was to happen to Derrick Henry, we were pretty thin at that position at that point,
that's good.
and that changes a lot of things. With how we're going to move offensively. Because, like I said, we're expecting a lot from Derrick Henry. So I know we probably won't see Keaton Mitchell till about January. So that's when you
The
talk about,
earliest, maybe Thanksgiving around that time at the earliest. Some guys,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Well, yeah, depending on how he is, I'm still saying January because I'm like he got hurt in like December,
yeah.
but
That's why I said the earliest Thanksgiving because that's close to a year.
yeah, but I just feel like after Derrick Henry, that the group is pretty thin, which happens a lot when you have a running back of that caliber, and it will be a lot of unknown there, and so when you talk about being concerned about something, I just hope we can, Derrick Henry makes it through the season because we need him.
I think, and the channel went on that. I think we're gonna preserve him a little bit. I don't think he's getting 50 carries. We're not gonna do what Bum Phillips did to Earl Campbell, run him to the ground. Because for one, you still got Lamar. He's a threat in the run game himself. That helps them.
Hmm.
Now now teams are going to be, ain't just they're going to be worried about him too. So now he's going to have more run. Then they're going to give Justice Hill more carries. Like I said, Rasheen Ali going to, they're going to give him carries to show why he was drafted. So I don't think Derrick Henry's going to run the ball 40 times a game. So, but that's a valid point you made. That's why I think he'll be okay for us with that. But yeah, so
Yeah.
oh, great show. We're gonna give y'all a double hitter. We'll be back tomorrow. Because the holiday weekend and then the short week with the Thursday nights. We'll give y'all back to back game, back to back shows. We'll do all break, positional matchup coaching, predictions, stuff like that, and whatever we throw in there. So yeah, tomorrow's show is definitely a little lengthy, probably an hour change. So yeah, so prepare yourselves. Shannon, anything you want to say before we roll out?
Just, reiterating what I was talking about earlier with Ravens fans, like, just take week one for what it is. Like, we don't have anything to go off of. It's going to be a stepping stone one way or another. And let's just enjoy the season for what it is. Like, we're going to have enough times to be upset about things. I don't think we should be that upset in week one way or another.
I agree. Like we do somehow not we'll drop that game. Do not burn all your stuff. Don't make us
Hmm.
express your concern. Yeah, that's your right as a fan, but just don't hit the panic button week one. Like it's still 16 more weeks to go. The
Hmm.
only, like I said, we're not the Super Bowl is not played Thursday, so we got a long way to go. So either way, we'll be fine. So yeah, I'm glad you said that, Shan. Because
Hmm.
let out, let out, let out, let out, let it. The fans have their way. We'll be 17-0. Nobody was
Yeah.
scoring. Putting up
Mhm.
85 points.
Right. Right.
So, yeah. Oh, y'all know what to do. Like and subscribe. I'm gonna share the show. Shannon gonna pretty sure she's going. Matter of fact, Shannon, you post the clips this week. I ain't gonna post no clips. I'm gonna let you do it. Share the show and stuff like that. Just post the link. I'm gonna let you do all that. You do pretty
You
good.
was doing fine. You was doing perfectly fine with
You
it.
I like the late. I'm like the CEO. That just like to sit back and let everybody, and give out raises. So I'm not a Dion Keyshawn Johnson type guy. I'm more like a laid back Andre Johnson.
Okay.
Same time. David be on here. Like I said, that show will be a little bit longer for you guys. So it's gonna be some good stuff. And then Thursday, whoever those that's going to the kickoff little thing, have fun, enjoy yourself. I'll probably just watch it, not in the house, go to my little happy hour spot. So, let's get it. Football season is officially back.
Yep.
Love y'all guys. We out.
Good night. Bye, Justin.